Hey guys, came from 15, joined by my co-host, the Red Wolf, and we are back with another My Hero Academia Season 6 episode review for you guys. As a lot happens in this week. We get a Beserk Deku, we have a Vestige battle, in the inner words of the Vestige Worlds of All for One and One for All. Presumably, it seems like the fight with Shigaraki is done,
I doubt that.
and we get Ochako versus Toga.
At the very end.
Yes. A lot happened. Funny enough, I went back and checked my manga chapter reviews in terms of covering this content, and I believe this covers about a good 3 chapters
Hmm.
from the manga, which is actually a lot of shit they adapted.
Did it feel rushed at all?
No,
Okay.
no.
I mean,
There's only
compared to the manga.
when you read manga pages are only like sometimes they can range between 13 to 17 pages for one chapter in 1 week.
Hmm.
And remind you, manga pacing or manga chapter pacing, it can be a lot quicker because, well, the fights aren't drawn out as much in the manga compared to the animes. But regardless, this week's episode was another great episode. You know, so far I haven't seen the TL blow up about animation issues, which funny enough, I thought the animation was great this week. And it's funny. Again, I keep telling people, okay, the Studio Bones may have had an okay episode last week. It was absolutely funny how at the start of this week's episode, they give more time to the Bakugo being impaled moment, which absolutely laughed my ass off when I was watching this, because I was like, I know these salty MHA fans are like, why the fuck they give this type of focus on the Bakugo getting impaled scene? And I'm just like, you people just can't sit your asses down and just wait for something to happen. Okay, Studio Bones made this scene a little bit more impactful here compared to last week. Last week, I thought it was just for the cliffhanger, the shock appeal. This week, they made it impactful. They actually focused on it a lot more than what they did at the end of last week. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was like, I kind of feared they would do it like that. Like obviously, and last week is not as impactful as this week because it just a cliffhanger. So
Yeah. Time constraints. You can't fit so much into one episode. But go ahead.
I guess, as Cameron said, they did it even better here.
Yeah. You know, they focused in, they had like the still shots and everything and the different foreground and everything. You actually saw Izuku's reaction when freaking Bakugo pushes him out the way and everything. Focused up. Again, when I saw this moment, I was laughing out loud. I'm like, you people are so damn over dramatic. You always judge something before an entire season's done with. That's MHA community, most toxic community in any anime fandom. If in all honesty,
I agree.
Again, like I said, the fact that there were so many people, even some YouTubers, coming on saying this episode was trash and shit like that because this episode didn't do it for them, or that episode didn't do it for them. Again, fuck off. I don't care I don't care if they see that. I don't care. They're just freaking writing for the shit because they want to see their shit be adapted the way they want. If you want that, go Logic. Go make your own damn anime TV show. Go work for Studio Bones and be the CEO so then you can tell the people how to do your anime. Okay? Good. Let's leave it at that. This was a great episode. Another great episode, thus showing why Season 6 is the best season of My Hero Academia, hands down.
So far, yes.
Yes. So the thing is, after Bakugo gets impaled, he tells Deku, like, don't do this all on your own by yourself, pretty much. You have people around you to help you. Pretty much telling him, like, don't try to do this by yourself. Now, I don't know if that's a foreshadowing moment to maybe Deku feeling guilty that everybody he cares about ends up getting hurt, which means I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. What if he ends up not listening to Bakugo and he tries to do everything by himself and going rogue?
Well, we caught a little bit of a glimpse of that.
So,
Going rogue.
yes. In the meantime, it's All For One who's taken over Shigaraki's body. He's pretty much regenerating, and like All For One always typically does, what's the number one thing he always likes to do when it comes to his opponents? He likes to taunt them.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to get under their skin. And he was like, and pretty much he's just like, so much bloodshed. So innocent bloodshed. Not even this could have happened, referencing Bakugo getting impaled. Pretty much he's saying, if you had just given me the quirk one for all, there would be no bloodshed, which we know that's a flat out bullshit lie. He would be killing people if he got his hands on the quirk. And this pisses off Deku, and you get that one still shot where he's like, what? He lost it, and I'm like, Deku's Beserk moment. Yes. He just lost it. The Gohan lightning snap goes through him. He charges up. His eyes are just greened out, pretty much. And he is going ape shit. Now, I know we didn't see a lot of this. And it was like this quick little Berserk moment of Deku, but what were your thoughts on that?
Well, that moment, that Berserk moment didn't last as long as I thought it would, but I was like this. Deku, is that you?
Yeah, he was an absolute monster. And before he does it, he remembers back when Daigoro Bongo told him, like, you know, you have to use that anger for power. But the thing is, he's kind of uses his anger uncontrollably. And we kind of see how that actually gets Deku into trouble, because eventually Shigaraki gets a hold of him and he's like, yes, finally I can steal your quirk. But it was cool, even like as my co-host mentioned, it was a short Berserk moment, but it was cool seeing him dodge all the freaking finger pistol nail things and even biting down on one of them and everything. But he gets a hold of him and it looks like, well, he's getting his quirk taken away. And the one thing that was probably the worst possible outcome ends up happening. Deku's getting his quirk siphoned away. He ends up going back, remembering back what was happening, and he's knowing his quirk's getting taken away. But then all of a sudden, we have this thing happen to where, boom, this big explosion happens, and next thing you know, we cut to the Vestige World. We're in the Vestige World.
Yeah, with Deku's like being unable to move. Like, where am I?
Yeah, Deku's mouth is still covered. His half of his body is also still covered. It's only his arms and a little bit of his torso that aren't covered yet in this greenish mist. And he sees in the distance Shigaraki walking, and Shigaraki's walking, but who is pretty much on his shoulder?
All For One.
You hear obviously the piano theme, even though it's a little bit short, which always ticks me off when I hear that piano theme. Now, as long as they didn't get to the now if they do that, now I'm like, every time I hear his theme, I just get ticked off for the most unknown reason.
I do too, actually. I have no idea how to feel whenever that theme pops up.
I think it's because we just hate this character. But we see, which is actually an interesting dynamic. Shigaraki apparently doesn't like the fact that All For One's helping him, and he's like, what the hell did you do this? Go away, pretty much. This is my life, this is my body, this is my dream. I don't want you imploding on that. And he's like, Tomura, I saved you. If it wasn't for me, you would have died. You know, trying to play his pacifist world, world, and trying to say, oh, I'm helping. Now, I'm just throwing this out there to you, my friend. Do you think All For One is trying to take over Shigaraki's body?
Yes. I feel like he's trying to pull a Oh my god, I forgot what other anime has that similar topic of like the didn't Dragon Quest Adventures I wait, didn't Mr. Vern try to take over Yunko's body?
Yeah.
Yeah, similar to that.
Okay, that's fair. It's funny because when I went back and watched my chapter review for this episode, I kind of related it to how Venom is the symbiote of Venom is, where he takes over Eddie Brock's body, or in this case, when the black suit Spider-Man was a thing, the symbiote tried to take over Peter Parker's body and control him.
Hmm.
That's what it seems like All For One's doing. It seems like maybe his plan was to implement the true quirk. Because remember, Shigaraki has the legit All For One quirk in him. Maybe All For One's plan is because he knows his other body is like manged up, old, kind of run down, pretty much. Maybe he's trying to take over his body because it's a younger Shigaraki's body because it's a younger body, and plus Shigaraki has all this crazy potential.
Hmm.
But yes, Deku tries to move to see something to try to maybe do something about this, but all of a sudden we see this hand hit his head, and it's Nana Shimura. And Nana Shimura is like, you can't move in this world yet. Now, I don't know if that's gonna be, well, my co-host probably will figure that, but again, it's this whole thing of this foreshadowing is when will Deku be able to move freely in this Vestige world? Is it when he'll have full control of One for All, or when he understands things, or when the Vestiges feel like he's able to do that? But it was interesting to see Nana Shimura. She's like, "Listen, don't worry about it. We'll take care of this." And that's when we have All For One and Shigaraki confronted by Nana Shimura, and I believe this is the first time Shigaraki has seen Nana Shimura.
Yes.
Um, so obviously, All For One's doing his taunting, and he's like, "Oh, it seems like the dead has come back to life, pretty much." He's doing his typical taunting and everything, and he's like, "Look at that, Omura! That's your grandmother, And I'm just like, "Really, dude? You really have to rub it in like that?" So one, we actually get some pretty interesting information. We pretty much find out that All For One, when he was taking all the quirks, he would actually see the consciousness of that said quirk's user. And in a way, it would be kind of, I guess, a nightmare situation for him, where I guess the people would judge him. The consciousness of that said person's quirk would judge him and say, "Why'd you take my quirk? Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that?" and everything. And eventually All For One's like, "Well, eventually I got over that. But hey, the same thing's happening to that kid over there. He's seen the consciousness of the quirk." So we find out in this episode that the quirks have their own quirk factors, and with this quirk factor, it has the consciousness of that said person who had that quirk. So pretty much in other words, it kind of, it's in a way, it means like the quirk, in a way, is somewhat alive. So that explains how Deku's able to see the previous users of One For All, because in a way, their quirk factor that was passed on through all the generations of One For All being passed around, the quirk factor, because the user's quirks are instilled with the One For All quirk as a whole. And I know this is sounding pretty confusing. But that consciousness of that said quirk. So, for example, Deku recently learned Float. The quirk Float, the consciousness of Nana Shimura is within that quirk. So that's how Deku's able to see her, talk to her, and everything. Obviously, the fact that it's One For All and everything, he should be able to talk to other users. That's kind of the thing there. These quirks have a quirk factor where the said consciousness of that person's, their memories are still there as if they were alive. Crazy. So we find out that if you're still somebody's quirk and you put it in your body, you can actually end up seeing that said person's consciousness. And based on, I guess, the person you are, in All For One's cases, the quirks he's stolen over all the time, those quirk factors are like, "Why'd you steal our quirk? Why'd you do this?" While compared to Deku, he was given the quirk. Is why they're nice. But we see that Shigaraki sees Nana Shimura and he's just like, "I don't give a fuck. I still hate you."
I hate you also, Grandma.
Yeah. And he calls her a grandma, but he's like, I still hate you because, well, he blames his entire family for everything that's happened to him. Nana Shimura identifies him as Kotaro's son. You would think there would be a little bit more dialogue between Nana Shimura and Shigaraki, but not really. He just
Nah,
says like, I
I
hate
give
you.
no Fs. I give no Fs.
Yeah,
You
pretty
can
much. You do see the one thing it is kind of heartbreaking. I especially think for Nana, just to see her grandson be under the influence of All for One. Like you could see the look on her face, like I don't want to do it, but I have to do what I must, pretty much, even though if he's considered family. So yeah, we get that information, and then that's when we see the first user of One for All appear right behind Deku. And that's when All for One again does his taunting, because the thing is, Shigaraki, because he's this hate, this rage within him, he unleashes his decay wave to try to, I guess, eliminate Deku so he can take away One for All. But Nana Shimura is holding back the decay wave and holding back saving Deku. Again, the first user shows up, he's doing the same thing, and then All for One's like, my little brother has returned. And pretty much he starts to taunt Nana and the first user of One for All, and he's like, that boy right there. I just seen this from Shigaraki's mind. That boy is weak. He's just a crybaby. You know, and what everybody keeps calling Deku, a crybaby bitch who only cries and everything. He goes to make the mention. He's like, he always talks about trying to save people. No, he's the one that ends up getting saved by his friends and his teachers. He couldn't even do that anyways. And stuff like that. So he's taunting Deku, saying like he's not a worthy successor to All for One, which means I should have the quirk. I would be a great successor.
Did you say all for one?
Yes, All for One.
Hmm.
So, yeah. And the thing is, what do the users pretty much tell All for One?
You're you're wrong and stuff, and I say we made the right decision because he feels enraged and he's constantly like thinking about saving everybody and stuff.
Yep, pretty much. The users feel like Deku is the right user for One for All because of the way how Deku, in a way, they kind of say changes the norm of what the previous users of the quirk use, because we know Deku wants to use the power to save everybody, save others, whether it's his friends or other civilians. You know, at first, most of the users thought this quirk is used to try to defeat One for All, but Deku doesn't really see it like that. He uses his quirk to want to help others, to be a hero, to save people, and everything. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. And I like how the previous users for One for All, they actually stand up for Deku and they actually say, no, we like this dude. We think he's a perfect user, and you're not going to take away this quirk from him. We're not done with him yet, pretty much. So they force All for One back. Also, too, the one more interesting thing about this is we see how All for One's also looking like he's starting to fully take over Shigaraki's body, because there's a part where Shigaraki, his eyes are kind of whited out and he's trying to fight, but All for One looks like he is the more dominant, and it looks like his body is also almost there too, which again, to my co-host, it looks like All for One is trying to take over Shigaraki's body.
Hmm.
So yeah, and it seems like that whole consciousness of All for One is still there. We cut back to the real world. Deku and Shigaraki, they break apart. Deku still has One for All, so he didn't get his quirk taken away. Thank God. But in the meantime, the All for One persona within Shigaraki is telling Shigaraki, listen, you need to go away. You need to retreat. Your body is not yet complete yet. So it seems like we have an ending to this fight between Shigaraki and Deku and the heroes. It looks like All for One saying, you need to go away, get out of here, don't let them capture you, retreat, let your body heal, and let it get to 100% completion, pretty much.
Mhm.
Now my co says otherwise. He thinks Shigaraki's still gonna fight back. So
Yeah, I think so.
it's gonna be interesting to see that, but presumably it looks like this is potentially the end of the fight. Now Deku says hopes for Shigaraki to stay down. He's fallen down. He looks like he's down for the count. He's passed out pretty much, which would put the hero's kind of at a disadvantage because let's look at it. Bakugo got impaled, so I think he's done for the day. Endeavor got impaled. He's already been exhausted this entire fight, so I think he might be done. Deku's definitely done. He broke his damn arms. Probably his legs too. He's exhausted from the fight.
Let's not forget about Gran Torino.
Gran Torino. He's still alive, but he's he's losing blood. He got impaled. Yeah, the only one that's actually like legit still 100% is
Todoroki.
Todoroki. Shoto. But we know how he's not gonna do anything. Let's be honest.
He's not gonna stand much of a chance, I'll be honest.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's get to so we go away from that part. Now we cut away to the others. We see that the heroes are starting to evacuate civilians because Gigantomachia is just headed his way to Jakku City, pretty much. And he's just going through buildings, destroying things. Mind you, this guy is probably killing a lot of innocent people, a lot of innocent civilians.
Sure looks that way.
Now, we don't see bodies or anything, but you can probably tell there's probably people in these buildings, and they're just getting absolutely just destroyed. They're getting killed, pretty much. So this guy, this monster, you know, is absolutely just destroying everything in his path just to get there. He also brings up the mention when he sees, like, I smell two masters, which is a reference to All for One, taking over Shigaraki's body, and everything. Now, if you're wondering how's this whole dynamic between All for One and Shigaraki's whole, I guess, body control work, pretty much one or the other can take over the body. So maybe in some cases Shigaraki will be the dominant person. Other cases, All for One sometimes could be the dominant person. It gets, trust me, I read the manga, it gets weird, and sometimes it's actually pretty hard to decipher who's in control. So, that's something. But again, me who reads the manga, when we do these episode reviews, I will be able to tell you who's in control. But right now, Shigaraki has control of his body. All for One just told him, go freaking retreat, pretty much. But we see how Gigantomachia, he's just destroying places all over the place and everything. The heroes are going on, and they're pretty much saying we need to evacuate the city, get civilians out of there before people end up getting hurt. We see how the this one set of heroes tells Nejire and the two other heroes, hey, go check up to see what Endeavor's group is doing and make sure they're a-okay and everything. Ida actually goes along with them, and the one hero's like, you can't go, you can't float or anything.
Oh, he's fast.
Yeah. Now why is Ida going to the battlefield?
Because he's worried about Deku and Bakugo that left without returning. So.
Well, he's talking about Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki. And he has a flashback memory back to season 2 when, and I believe he's telling this to Nejire, because Nejire is like, why are you coming? You can't fly. And he's like, well, I got 3 missing classmates, because remember, he's the class rep of the class, of class 1A, and he's like, also 2 of them are there, and they helped me, and they saved me in my time of need, because you remember when the only thing Ida back in season 2 thought was about killing hero killer Stain, and he almost got himself killed if it was not for Deku and Bakugo, Deku and Todoroki being there. He would have never understood his ways, and he's like, I want to be there to help them, like they helped me, which I thought was a nice connective tissue to season 2. Nice at Ida. Ida's always been this character that wants to help his friends, especially Deku and Bakugo. Those 2 characters mean a lot to him, just from that aspect of what happened in season 2. We actually cut over to Ochako. She's helping with this whole operation of helping civilians get to safety before Gigantomachia gets there, and she's just kind of having this reflection moment. She's like, ever since the USJ attack happened with the League of Villains, things have just been getting a lot worse than what we thought they should have been going, which,
that's actually true.
You know, just look at it. USJ attack on them. They could have died there. Then the hero killer Stain stuff. Then mostly the camp arc when the League of Villains raided the camp and literally almost kills all the freaking kids. The ending, the fight between All for One and All Might. She was there for the overhaul stuff. Um, yeah, she makes a good point. Shit has not gotten good. If anything, it's gotten worse over this span of time. And mind you, they're still in their first years of high school. And it's only been months. It feels like years, but it's only been like a month and a year and a half. It's pretty much like they're in the month of February right now, if I'm correct. Month of February and March right now. So they're not even second years yet. This is all happening in their first years. Just imagine all this crazy shit happening in your first year. I guess a better comparison is like World War. If a World War got started, things are looking like they're good, but then they're starting to get worse, progressively worse, and then boom, war, and you're still in school and you actually have to be involved in it. That's kind of what these kids are at right now, which sucks for them because they shouldn't be involved in this. They should be going to school, should be learning how to become heroes, but I guess they're learning out the hard way, huh? But in the meantime, we cut over to the League of Villains, who's riding on Gigantamachia's back. And pretty much they make the mention like, now Skeptic is like looking at everything. He also looks at the battlefield. He's like, yeah, Shigaraki's there. Now Dabi actually says, is Endeavor there? And Skeptic's like, oh yeah, he's there too. I'm just gonna leave it out there. Which I'll talk about the next episode preview in a second. Now, Toga actually has an interesting conversation, and because we see how Mr. Conference, he's like, Toga, are you okay? And she's just like, do you think Jin died for a good reason? Do you think it's okay for heroes to kill villains or kill people like us? Like, do you think it was okay for the heroes to kill twice? And everything. And she's like, I need to go ask Ochako and Izuku what they think about, or what they feel about what it is and everything. And pretty much this is her kind of story character moment where, which I referenced earlier this season, Toga's going through some sort of interesting character development from the standpoint. Her whole thing is it okay for heroes to kill people like them? Because if heroes are supposed to save people, then why do they not try to save us? My only issue with her statement is, well, when you choose to kill people, that's your choice. So technically a hero is doing what they got to do to stop people from hurting others. And if you're at the cause of people being hurt, well, then you might need to be taken down, which Ochako makes a mention to Toga in this episode. But what are your thoughts on Toga's whole dilemma about should heroes kill villains and stuff like that?
I mean, let's be real, she's not really in the right mindset right now after what happened to Twice. So, but then again, I kind of get it, but at the same time, not really. Yeah, I'm not agreeing with her fully, considering she's a killer herself.
Makes sense. But she goes to leave. They actually see a panel on the laptop Skeptic has where she sees Ochako and Sue, and she's like, I gotta go to chess. Ask Ochako. So she leaves. We have it to where Spinner says, hey, come back to us, pretty much. Don't die like Twice did. So don't know if that's foreshadowing on something. I don't know if Ochako would go that far to kill Toga.
I don't think she would.
But that's the thing. Pretty much after she leaves, Dabi just makes a mention. He's like, well, it's time to burn down whatever's left of this fake hero society.
Has that psycho smile.
So yes. Eventually, we see Ochako saving people, and this old lady comes out of nowhere, and she's like, please help me with my husband. He's on the deathbed. And she runs to this dark alley. We talked off screen. I wanted to know if he thought that was Toga, and he did know that was Toga.
I did. I knew from the very beginning that was Toga. I was like, wait, the moment she asked Uraraka to follow her, I was like, wait,
Especially the fact that was in a dark alley.
dark alley. That I know what that means.
So yeah,
I watched enough anime to know.
yeah. The old lady makes a mention like, please, you'll save him. And then Ochako's like, don't worry, I'll save anybody that needs help. And then obviously it shows it's Toga. Toga's like, really? You think? Yeah. And I'm just like, this girl is lunatic.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know why people were so thirsty for Toga, but my god.
They like them crazy.
So she goes into this house, and Ochako reluctantly knows she has to go in there, so she goes in there. Again, the anime does a great job where it's like you don't know where Toga is, but you can hear multiple voices from like coming from different rooms and everything, and she's looking around and stuff like that. And pretty much she comes out from the top, she jumps on top. No homo, guys. Get your mind out of the gutter. The fan art must be juicy for that one, huh?
People were doing that for Deku versus Bakugo too, actually.
Oh god. Yes, although the fan art, a girl on girl would be great. But it's crazy. But she pretty much, Toga is like looks like she's trying to stab Ochako, and pretty much that's when Toga poses the question, and she's like, would you, pretty much saying like, what would you do to me? Would you kill me if you had the chance, Ochako? And pretty much that's when Ochako puts two and two together. She's like, wait a second, I know your power. What did you do to that old lady and that old man? Did you kill them? And obviously Toga just kind of is like, well, I did what I had to do, pretty much. And pretty much you see it to where what is it, Ochako's like, why would you do that? And you're asking me, if you did something bad and everything, which again contradicts kind of Toga's statements of like, is it okay for a hero? Now, I'm not saying a hero should kill a villain. I only say a hero should kill a villain. Like in Hawk's case, he had to do it because, well, he had no other choice. He tried to reason, but Twice wasn't listening. And other than bring him in, and we know Twice had a very dangerous power, that's kind of the thing. And pretty much Ochako just throws her off and says, I'm just gonna bring you in, and pretty much I have to do what I gotta do. And in a way, it's kind of like a rejection to Toga. So that's where the episode ends off, and we're finally gonna get the fight between the two characters that are in love with Deku.
Love battle.
I don't think so. I think not much of a love battle, but it's kind of you get my point. But,
yeah.
Yes, it's gonna be interesting to see. Definitely was waiting for this moment. Ochako versus Toga, a fight that's been hinted at since season 3.
Yes.
So yes, hopefully Ochako does not suffer irreparable damage.
Is that where this is going?
I'm just saying, hopefully she doesn't end up getting herself really badly wounded to where she almost dies, because I still want to see Ochako and Deku together by the end of the story.
Deku is
he's beat up. Okay, next episode preview.
Oh my God. Yeah, it seems like it's going to be more focused on Dobby and Endeavor, and
When I tell you, I'm so hyped for next week. Finally, we will be getting the reveal on who Dobby truly is next week.
I have my suspicions on who it is, but
I can't wait, man. When this moment happened in the manga, even though it was revealed and I found out who it was, I was still shocked, man. When I tell you, my friend, you're just gonna be like, oh my gosh. That's kind of the thing. But I'm so excited to see what next episode has to bring. And if you watch the next episode preview very closely, you may be spoiled a bit on who Dobby truly is, but I won't give it away. I won't give it away. We'll talk about it next week, and I can't wait to talk about it. But before we get out of here, what are your predictions for who Dobby truly is?
What is that one son of Endeavor's name that apparently passed away?
Oh, the missing son?
Yeah, the missing son.
That boy is named Toya Todoroki.
That's my first suspicion. I don't know who else he could be.
Okay. Well, Dobby will explain his entire story, and surprisingly enough, if my co-host believes that to be the case, they did focus a lot on the Endeavor's family. They showed Shoto, they showed Endeavor, they even showed the mom.
Yes.
Next week is gonna be, pun entirely intended, flames.
You just had to say that.
Yes, but the Dobby reveal will happen next week. I can't wait. I know you can't wait.
I know, I can't wait.
That might have to be an episode we might need to get up early to talk about.
I'm gonna try, but I tend to get really sleepy.
Damn it, why do I have to wait till a whole nother Saturday for a new episode?
Why indeed.
Anyways, guys, we're gonna get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode of My Hero Academia. And everything. Hit the subscribe button to my channel, not only my channel, my co-host channel, the Red Wolf.
I'm having some real problems with my Sonic Frontiers playthrough. I don't know how I'll be able to upload at this point. That's all I'm gonna say.
There you go. We'll be back next week for My Hero Academia, or actually no, Monday for Bleach. Actually, also too, yeah. Also, in my outro, I also talked about and did a review on the Quintessential Quintuplets movie. If you want my thoughts on that film, well, click on the video in the outro. But anyways, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Catch you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, see you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.